New tonight. Fired and hired. Our investigation expands into cops with checkered pasts.
It started with Jeremy Rikowski's reports on the Coffee City Police Department. Reports now seen by more than 6 million people.
Coffee City is a magnet for troubled cops.
Something needed to happen.
Criminal charges against a former police chief.
The entire police force is shut down today.
This tiny town of 250 people that once had 50 officers now has none.
Video's about 2 minutes.
Investigation got results and got you asking even more questions.
It sure did, Ranamia. The biggest one, how many other agencies hire cops who got the boot for misconduct? We spent 3 months investigating these so-called wandering officers in the Houston area.
Every officer you're about to see was fired or resigned from one law enforcement agency and later rehired by another. There's this cop who repeatedly punched a suspect already in cuffs. He was fired from Baytown Police and hired by the Liberty County Precinct 2 Constable.
That's crazy as hell.
Or how about this officer who tackled a guy for recording an accident scene? His First Amendment right.
You need to go.
I'm not leaving anywhere. I'm not leaving. Resigned from Lake Jackson Police, hired by Oyster Creek. And there's this cop's unwelcome sexual advances toward a dispatcher. Fired from Decino City, hired by Galena Park Police.
KHEO 11 Investigates sent out more than 100 open records requests for personnel files to Houston area agencies. Over the past 4 years, we discovered 184 wandering officers, cops who received less than honorable discharges from one department and got hired somewhere else.
Like the Harris County Precinct 4 Constable Office, which gave a job to a cop caught stealing groceries from Walmart. Or Southside Place Police. It hired a sheriff's deputy who called a coworker gay and another a fat mofo. And Clear Lake Shores Police hired a deputy who was fired for telling a black colleague, "We don't want a N-word here."
Why would you decide to hire that individual with that track record?
He's Luis Soberon.
It's bad for the agency. It's bad for the community.
A policy advisor with the nonpartisan think tank Texas 2036, which did a deep dive into Texas wandering officers.
The prime destination for wandering officers are smaller agencies in more sparsely populated parts of Texas.
So they can hide out.
And that is why?
The hiring pool for these communities is relatively small.
Small departments, he says, generally pay pretty low. And so
it might seem easier for the hiring agency in a small town to take the veteran that's already been trained, that already has experience. Even if they have some baggage, well, they may be messed up one time.
Officers, by percentage, these small Houston area agencies did. At Arcola Police, they made up 38% of the force.
Are second chances okay, in your opinion?
Erica Carr is Arcola's chief.
Yes, but it depends on what the officer has done.
Carr told us she hired only some of the wandering cops on our list, but concedes
we do have times where a person has made a mistake. They've
a bad decision,
and we give them that opportunity.
So this is crazy. So I just played that clip about wandering cops. That's basically, I'm sure, most of y'all know what that is, but it just means, like when a cop does something, bogus, dirty, maybe gets fired, something like that, and then they get terminated or, let loose or whatever, and then how they'll end up, you'll see them end up at another police department. They'll get, rehired somewhere else. It'll be all kind of on the low and stuff like that. And because there's been some situations here in Wisconsin like that too. You know what I mean? But I looked up some stats, and I wanted to see how many situations we have here in Wisconsin. So I would encourage, you know what I'm saying, y'all to Google your state. Just Google the number of wandering officers in whatever city or state you're in. You know what I'm saying? That's what I did. I said, how many wandering cops are there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? And it pulled up this information. So it says the number of wandering officers at the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office has remained relatively consistent So they're saying there's 12 of them in 2021 and at least 16 now. And this article was from April 10th of 2024. So it's, pretty recent. What's that, April, and this is October. So, about 6 months? And it says more than half are jail officers. So that's crazy. So we have basically we have at least 12, you know what I'm saying, questionable / dirty cops, and they're working in the jails. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just imagine how, you know what I'm saying? And they already, it's just a fact. I don't care what nobody says. 90%, I'll say at least 85% of the officers that work, and they're called deputies here in Wisconsin, like Milwaukee County Jail and stuff. I would say 85% of the deputies in there don't like, and no, I'm saying no one should like criminals. You know what I'm saying? They don't like the person. Like when you go in there because you got an orange jumpsuit on and stuff like that, they just see you as a criminal. You might be in there for a few unpaid, traffic tickets that turned into a jail commitment. You might just be going up in there for a week or something. And they'll, you know what I'm saying? But they'll like bag you in and stereotype you with everyone else in there and like treat you like a piece of shit. There is that us against them. That's just how it is. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. Then there's another article here. Let's see what they're talking about. It says more than 300. This is from the Badger Project too. So they're saying this one I'm reading now is from the Badger Project. The one that I just read is from Google. That's the Googles. But this article is from the Badger Project. It says more than 300 Wisconsin officers back in law enforcement after being fired. Let me click on here. Excuse me. It says more than 300 Wisconsin officers back in law enforcement after being fired or forced out. That's up 50% from 2021. So what they're doing, because if you paid attention too, I don't know what it's like in your city or state or town or wherever you live, rest your head at, call home. Here in Wisconsin, I know in Milwaukee, they're saying how there's a shortage of police officers. They want to hire more cops. That's all. They're always saying that. It seems whether crime is going up or it's down or it's or whatever. At some point during the year, every couple of years, you hear the cops saying that they need to hire more police and stuff like that. They're getting damn near half our budget. So, like, how, you know what I'm saying? Like in that, yeah, I don't know. But it says the sheriff's office in Waukesha and Milwaukee counties, Milwaukee Police Department employ the most wandering officers as the total number of police statewide continue its long decline. That's what I was just saying, like. And some people are retiring and stuff like that and getting their pension now and shit, and other stuff happens. So this is by Peter Cameron. This is the Badger Project. So I'll just read a little bit of it. I'm not going to bore you guys with a bunch of reading. So it said, wandering officers, police and jailers who were fired or forced out from a previous job in law enforcement have increased in Wisconsin by more than 50% since 2021, an investigation by the Badger Project has found. More than 300 active officers in the state were negatively separated from previous law enforcement job in the state, according to records obtained by the Badger Project. The number does not include wandering officers who came from other states. In 2021, the number of wandering officers in Wisconsin totaled less than 200, according to an investigation by the Badger Project. A total of about 15,000 law enforcement officers, including those working in jails and other detention facilities, are employed in Wisconsin, according to the Wisconsin Department of Justice. Wandering officers make up about 2% of the total. More than 1,900 officers, this will be the last little paragraph I'll read. More than 1,900 officers in Wisconsin have been negatively separated, meaning they were terminated, resigned in lieu of resignation, or resigned prior to completion of an internal investigation. Since 2017, when the State Department of Justice started requiring agencies to report that statistic. And that's probably one of the reasons Donald Trump wants to get rid of the DOJ. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, many wandering officers are simply rookies who didn't perform at an acceptable level during their initial training probationary period, when the bar to fire them is very low, experts say, or they were unable to handle the pressure of working in a busy urban area and can thrive at a slower pace in a smaller town. And there's other stuff too, but let's see. Who is this person? Just there's a picture of a guy here. I just want to see what it says. Associate Professor, Criminal Justice. Last year, number really. Okay. Wow. Let me read this though. So it says last year the number of officers policing the public and excluding those working exclusively in correctional facilities fell again to less than 13,000 according to the data from the state DOJ. That's the lowest number of patrol officers since at least 2008, when the Department of Justice started keeping track. In the number of Wisconsin law enforcement officers has been sinking since at least then, a cop crunch that puts pressure on law enforcement agencies trying to fill positions. Yeah, and then it says that the police chiefs nationwide are struggling to find quality candidates. Remember I was saying in Alaska, and I know they're a different, part of like the United States and all that kind of stuff or whatever. But remember we did that story. They were hiring people just like with straight up records with like felonies on their record. They had a police force, I think it was like 7 or 8 officers, and they all had records. They all had like, some of them had like sex cases and all kinds of like weird stuff. Yeah, but that's what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. Like, and a lot of that will be happening under the clove of darkness. Like, as a matter of fact, I don't know all the super details and super specifics, and I don't even remember their names anymore. But like the cops, at least one of them or a couple of them, or, I know at least one of the cops that was involved in the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. He ended up, at another police department somewhere. And that's happened that, what was that dude's name? The cop that killed dude in Wauwatosa by the mall. I forgot dude's name. Black dude too. That was the other part of it. Like dudes going around killing like other black citizens and stuff like that. He ended up, leaving that department and ended up resurfacing at another police department and stuff like that. And he's still out there roaming around. I don't know what happened to him anymore. Y'all know who I'm probably talking about, but I can't remember his name. That's a good thing, because I don't even want to think about that shit anymore. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, so y'all, go look that up when you get a couple extra minutes. You know what I'm saying? While you're looking up your favorite recipe or what you're going to make for dinner tonight or this weekend or whatever, or you're looking up your favorite movie on Netflix or stuff like that. Yeah. Because these would be the people, like, you know what I'm saying, patrolling the streets. I'm sure some of us have family members that are incarcerated or whatever, and it just says too, like some of like the people that work in the jails, like the COs and stuff like that, the correction officers, they'll be ex-cops, they'll be ex-police officers that'll be working in there, Yeah, so that happens too. So yeah, this is an article by Peter Cameron, the Badger Project, some of that I just read. Man, more than 300 Wisconsin officers back in law enforcement after being fired or forced out. And like I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So they're doing that on the low too, on the quiet. And they're out in the public at the same time saying that they need more police officers, more corrections officers. We have commercials here in Wisconsin for the Department of Corrections saying how great of a job it is and how they love it and all that stuff. I'm like, they were like on one of the commercials here, real quick. on a Department of Corrections commercial, like, you know, for their hiring and stuff like that. They were saying how they love helping people. It was a jailer. Like, he had on, like, the, you know, the correction suit, the light blue suit and the dark blue pants and stuff like that. He was in one of the prisons. And he was saying how he loved helping. How are you helping people that are in prison? Like, you're a jailer. You're not, he wasn't like a social worker or a AODA counselor or any kind of someone in education department or anything like that, where that would make a little more sense. You're a jailer, dude. You're taking people back and forth to their cell, telling them to go to their room, taking people to the hole. Like, you're always, when you're a corrections officer, you're always in an authoritarian position when you're dealing. And they tell you, don't be friendly, don't be cordial. I'm not saying you're supposed to be friends with people that are locked up. I'm saying they train you not to even be cordial. But at the same time, it is a rule that they, like, address everyone as, like, gentlemen. You know, ladies and gentlemen, they always say that. Like, if you notice, and people know that have been locked up, they'll, like, call you gentlemen. Let's go, gentlemen. Let's get to, you know, let's get to child. Let's go, gentlemen. Let's get to our rooms. Let's go, gentlemen. It's almost count time. You know what I'm saying? They'll be trying to like, try to keep the temperature down and try to make you seem, you know, feel human and stuff. Like, but in reality, they hate your guts. A lot of them. I didn't say all. But yeah. But back to the episode. So y'all go check that out though. That's some interesting stuff. A little music interlude, y'all. This is Snipe Life. He's with, you know, with the locks and stuff like that. They have their own, you know, group too on the side. It's called D Block with D Block Records. Chic Luch actually started that. But these are some of the artists like Snipe Life. You know, they're underrated, underheard, you know what I mean? But real good MCs. I mean, real good MCs. So this is Snipe Life and Whisper. So I'm going to just play about maybe half the song. It's called Just Another Day. If y'all want to go check that out on Spotify or whatever.
Just another day, gotta get it in the hood. Drop it in the water, smoke a test to set it's good. Up the I doubled up today. Ski mask on my face, wish a nigga would. He looking like a plate, you can't
go get a cigarette. Just getting in from work now. This is going on the second episode.
You can hear the shots in the morning when they ricochet. The bullets got no names and they come in any age. Ski mask on his face, looking for a bigger plate. It's foul cause the shorty by the school got hit with strays. Try to play it cool, you know the rules of the paper chase. Get it how you live it, but you timid when you run away. Trapped in the box like you locked, can't run away. Don't be another job on camera, put the gun away. It's Sunday, my man called me from the feds. Press 5, level 3 max. He relaxed, but it's stress high. What you tell a guy that blew trial and he got life plus 14 more years? Yeah, that shit is tripe. You can send a kite or you can call. Mentally you with us, you just stuck behind the wall. For all my niggas 10 toes down that stood tall. It's just another day around the way we spit raw.
Yep, that's that Snipe Life. Y'all go check him out. Yeah, Snipe Life's a real deal. But back to the episode, y'all. And thanks for listening to the second episode on this hump day. NFL Week 5 starts tomorrow too, so y'all get y'all lineups in, DraftKings or whatever and all that. I mean, I'm doing the Major League Baseball playoffs too, little lineups. Yeah, I put little DraftKings lineups for that too. So, actually, just got home from work. I'm going to take a shower, chill, pop on the news, maybe a little something to eat, and then I'll work on my little lineups for the little baseball playoffs today. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening, y'all. Oh, and shout out Turkey. Can't forget to shout out Turkey. Someone from Turkey is listening to us, so peace and blessings to you. We appreciate it. Thanks for checking us out. All right, peace, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. And go tell, excuse me, and go tell somebody you love them. You know what I mean? Check in on a family member or something like that. Oh, and shout out my mom. She's heading to Canada. Looking forward to talking to you in a couple of days. We're going to holler at my mom, and they're going to give us a call, and we're just going to see what they're getting into and see the sights and sounds out there. And actually, I wanted to ask her, too. You know, and it goes under talked about, actually. But, you know, there's border crossings, too. Like migrants coming in through Canada, coming into America or whatever. I'm not sure the exact location, the spot and all that, but we saw a couple documentaries on it where, like, the guy was, like, down there. He was filming it. He was down there. He was talking to a local, he was talking to a trooper or a board. Yeah, one of the border agents down there, as a matter of fact, it was. So he did a whole story on it. As a matter of fact, y'all can go check that out. It's called Peter Santinello. He has a YouTube page. Peter Santinello. Y'all go check that out. He did an episode on that, on the Canadian immigrant border crossings into American stuff. And, yep, he went down there and met with one of the border agents down there. Yep, so I just didn't want y'all to think I'm just making that up. But, yeah, but I'm going to see what's going on with that. All right, y'all. Peace. And thanks for listening. I know I get to rambling sometimes, but y'all know I'm a talker sometimes because I'm a thinker. And sometimes that turns into words. All right, y'all. Peace. Okay. You're letting the dog out, Charlie. Come on, Charlie. I hope the recording's all right because you never know how the wind is going to be. You want to go for a walk or do you just want to... All right, come on. As Charlie gets older, he'll be taking a little longer to get down the stairs. And then you always notice too. Here, come on this way. Oh, perfect. He has to pee right away. Perfect. Because there's a dog coming like way down on the other river walk. You just never know because Charlie's so like aware and he's half blind in one of his eyes basically. So if like he would ever have, you know what I mean? And I don't want to have to like yank him away or like hurt somebody else's dog because they're attacking him. You know what I mean? I just want him to pee, get a little fresh air, some sun, walk around a little bit, and then go back in. Because he does get super distracted when it's time to pee. Anyways, yeah, it's nice out here to y'all. The Indian summer's hitting. I am representing, though. I got my little brewer hoodie on. You know what I mean? I ain't hating on the brewers. It's just like that culture sometimes. It feels like it's just nothing but drinking. And then I know that there's a lot of drinking and driving that goes in. With that. Come on, Bubba. Yeah, Charlie takes. Oh, good one. He got up the stairs pretty fast. But yeah, it's just kind of that culture. No, not there. That's somebody's. Come on, Charlie. I almost called him Chewy. Over here, Bubba. Yeah, it's just the culture more of like, because like I was saying earlier, it seems like with the brewer baseball and stuff like that, it seems like some people like they think like that's theirs. You know, kind of like it feels like how white people feel like downtown is theirs and that's all they worry about protecting. Because y'all be hearing it when we're at the apartment down here. You hear the sirens all the time. All the time. And that means that there's a lot of cops. A lot of cops are getting called and stuff like that. You see what they're doing. If anyone's drove down on Commerce, you see all the bump outs and all that. I think they're creating more of a problem than they actually cure one. Because them lanes are narrow. Morning.
Morning, how's it going?
Good. Excuse me. Yeah, back on the elevator, my bad. I paused it for a second. Every time Charlie, like when I pass somebody, like getting off the elevator, coming in the building, whatever, because, you know, the dogs are low to the ground, so if they smell food or any kind, they'll start like sniffing people's leg and shit. Some people don't like that, and I don't really, you know what I mean? So I like kind of try to pull them away a little bit.
Niggas, I go on a spurt. Before I had the deal, I was already on. 40 crack, I'm open, they already gone. I am Malcolm and me and Della in the concrete jungle with knowledge of fan dwellers. Shout to the sisters, smoking while I listen to the ancestors whisper. Fight for your freedom and your rights, cause you need them. And it's the tech days, so your life gets deleted if your sight ain't complete. If you ain't complete, you ain't elite. If your little brother's hungry to tell me how could you eat? It's one for all for one. Brand Nubians, light up a doobie, give me a gun. I've been watching the news, I've been feeling the blues. You could get killed by the boys wearing the blue. And I don't mean the Crips, talk about the cops on the strip. See the option, your options to dip. It shouldn't have to be like that. Hard to survive, third eye, can't see like that. Ghosts. Got it out the mud till it turned into dirt. Yeah, put the love in my hustle.
Peace and blessings, and enjoy Saturday's episode. It is June 8th. Enjoy this LOX.
Before I had the deal, I was already on. 40 crack, I'm open, they already gone. Yonkers very own, Southside's finest. And I'm a miracle, cause I was nickel and diamond. Sticking niggas up, picking niggas up. Off their feet, on the street, had to keep my blickers up. My homie in the pen, told them nigga chip her up. New city, when you touch down, we gon' rip it up. Ain't no slipping up, get the wine, sip it up. Cross the line, clip it up, get the brick, whip it up. Nah. That is no longer the wave. Legal money we gon' make. Legal money we gon' save.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, not when you were a kid, but, you know, on a Saturday morning, making some coffee, some breakfast. Especially like when it's the summer months. Go outside, that fresh air hits your nose. Breathe that shit in. You smell that summer air. Yeah, that's what's up. Can't wait for Big Brother to start. You know what I was thinking too? Because when I woke up this morning, I'm thinking like, it's only like 4 o'clock in the morning right now, but I was thinking like, the final game too should be tonight. That's the dumbest thing ever. I wish they would switch that. Because just keep in mind, I'm talking about the NBA Finals between Dallas and Boston. Game 1, right, was Thursday night. So before Game 1, they didn't play ball for like about a week. Just about a week, give or take. So they come back, you play Game 1, and then you don't play again until Sunday. Yeah, that's crazy. Because you're not traveling, you're already in Boston. So why aren't they playing tonight on Saturday night? Yeah, that's crazy. So basically, you've played, by the time Game 2 actually tips off, you'll be done played only one game in like a 10-day period, in a 10-day span. In reality, you've only played one game in like a 10-day period. Yeah, I'd like to see them change that though. Have that Game 2 be on Saturday. You know what I mean? But yeah, coffee. We're supposed to be having about 75 degrees today here in Milwaukee. Yeah. Hope everyone enjoyed last couple episodes. You know what I mean? There's just been a lot of conversation about like Milwaukee Public School Board. You know, too, I was thinking last night, it's kind of crazy like how in reality in true reality, that's not one person's fault, like that Milwaukee public school situation. And in true, like, because there's been other referendums, like school referendums and stuff like that in the state. Not only just Milwaukee, but Milwaukee's, you know, the biggest, so they're going to get the most attention. But I'm sure this goes on throughout the country. You know what I mean? And like I always say, if Republicans truly cared about the city so much like they say they do, well then why don't you see more Republican mayors? Why don't you see more white people running for mayor of, you know, major U.S. cities? Because they don't care. They don't care. You know what I mean? But I was thinking with that Milwaukee public school thing, just think about it. This might be a little deep dive, but it makes sense that someone would potentially think this way and take advantage of people because they don't care about them. It's a respect issue. What I'm trying to say is, like, if you think about it, like all the money, right? Because like Michelle had said this too the other day, that she felt like if the test scores were all good and like academically everything was fine and shit like that, there may not have been this much of a deep investigation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Things might have not have gotten as bad because the end result, the bottom line, is the school is successful, which means, you know, kids are getting good grades, parents are involved, all that kind of stuff, right? Usually makes for a pretty positive situation overall. But when you don't have, I'm going to say a decent amount of parents / guardian not being involved as they should, you know what I mean? In all facets. Meaning, you know, helping being more involved in their child's education, whether it's getting them extra help, whether it's personally trying to help them with stuff, whether it's, you know, whatever it takes, helping that kid get an extra job so they're occupied and busy doing things. I mean, there's always idle time. There's always time to find something to do wrong. You know, they used to always tell me in prison, like, because one of the things, like, our counselors and, like, people, they would ask, like, well, you know, what do you think you need to do to, like, stay out and not come back and get in trouble anymore or be successful or do well? Just like, oh, we'll get a job and work because, you know, if I'm working all the time, then that means I'm busy and I don't have time to do anything wrong. That's bullshit. You always have time. It only takes a second to commit a crime. You know what I mean? You can work all goddamn day long. It only takes a minute or two to do something bad. So, you know, there's always time for that. It's what's going on mentally and emotionally and the choices you make and what's important, what you value. Because then you make decisions based off of that kind of stuff.
And by Miles Davis, he goes, so what?
But my thing is, like, that NPS board, right? Like, just everyone involved, right? Just the school board, just in totality, right? I'm not talking about one individual person. Just in totality, overall, if Milwaukee Public Schools and just everyone involved, right? If there's this perception or you're not seeing, you know, as many parents be involved as they should be, or you're not seeing as many parents coming to parent-teacher conference or getting involved in their kids' education, or if their child is experiencing some difficulty, maybe they are getting into trouble or maybe they are having issues or whatever, and that the parents aren't getting involved, trying to help, trying to find out, not coming up to meetings and parent-teachers conference and all, like all of that, all of those are kind of optics, and people kind of base their opinions about how people feel about things based off that. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is, if in totality the school is failing and people are failing, individuals are failing the school, right? And then you see little parent involvement, little, like parents not coming up to the school for parent-teachers conference, not taking accountability when their kids are fucking up in school. You know what I'm saying? And just like blaming the school, blaming the teachers, blaming everyone else for their kid failing. Because there is some of that. Let's just face it. We can go to bat for the kids and say that, they're young and they need to, and all that shit. But at the end of the day, you're going to be judged off the decisions you make. Because like I was telling you, when I went to prison, I started getting in trouble and shit like that. I wasn't able to use or pull out the convenient excuse, I was raised by a single mother, my father wasn't around and shit, all this, and use all these excuses for me to not get in trouble. No, none of that mattered in that time. No, they're like, you're responsible, you chose to commit crimes, now you're going to jail. And my point is, because I know there's a lot that goes into a child maybe not potentially doing well in school. There's a lot that goes into that. It ain't just cut and dry. It's really not. You have some kids that are going to school hungry. You got some kids that are going to school just like their home life is fucked up. So they're going to school with a lot of stuff on their mind. How's anyone gonna sit there and study and focus when they got all this stuff going on in their life? You know what I mean? So there's a lot that goes into it. So it's not just easy just to be like, you know what I'm saying? But my point is, at the end of the day, despite all of that, you're gonna be judged off the decisions you make. So none of that's gonna matter is what I'm saying. If someone gets in trouble, none of that's going to matter. You're not going to be able to say, oh, well, I had a single parent. Oh, well, I was hungry this morning. Oh, well, I'm tired. That's why I'm not doing well. None of those excuses are going to fly. But my point is, if everyone sees that, there's this chunk and group between parents and kids, if there's this perception that things are bad and that no one cares, because if people are saying that the parents don't care as much, I'm not saying all. I'm saying there's a decent amount now to where it's making a difference. Because if people see that you don't care, you're not coming up, you're not coming around, you're not checking on things, you're not triple and quadruple checking things and calling around and making sure things are right and all of that stuff. When your kid gets in trouble, you don't show up. You don't come up for the meeting to find out what's going on or to discuss them. People kind of start thinking, oh, well, no one's really looking. No one really cares. You know what I mean? So we can just do whatever. And I think that goes into some of that money being abused and things being just done. Because if no one's really checking, you know what I mean? Being like, wait, hold up. This ain't right. Why is this going on? Why is that not happening? It's almost like, trying to think of a good comparison, it'd be like the equivalent of, let's say you knew somebody that, I'm just totally making a scenario up here. Let's say you knew somebody that was kind of, you could take advantage of them, right? There was someone, they got a lot of money, a lot of knowledge, whatever, right? They got a lot of something. And you know they'll just give it to you because they're cool, right? They're trusting. They'll just give it to you. So you know, oh, here's a good one. Let's say we've all taken money out of our mom's purse and shit like that before, like when we were kids and stuff, right? I'm sure everyone's done it at least once. So let's say you were taking $5 out your mom's purse, like every week, because you just knew she didn't check, she didn't really, ask it, she didn't really check. It was just like whatever, so then you just got to just taking $5 out of her purse every week, because you just knew she didn't check, she wasn't on top of it, she didn't miss it, never said anything about it, never was like, hey, I got $5 missing, did you take it? Like, just, so you're just knowing this, and over after a period of time, you're like, damn, I've been taking $5 out of her purse for the past 2 months, and she ain't ever said nothing. So in your mind, you're thinking she either doesn't care or just doesn't know, is unaware, just oblivious to what's going on. You know what I mean? So when you see that, like, some people would just continue to take advantage of it. Like, oh, well, they don't know. No one's calling up here asking where this money is or why this, or they're not checking on this or checking that. So when they see people not like on top of stuff or not being as involved, things like that kind of start happening. Kind of like when the cat's away, when the cat's away, the mice will play type shit. Or it's kind of like that, that the substitute teacher's in, let's just fuck up. It was kind of like there's always a substitute teacher's in when it comes to MPS. And everyone has a role in, like, the failing of it or whatever. But Michelle made a good point. Like, if them test scores were good and on par and all that stuff, the optics wouldn't look so bad. Because once the scores are bad and all the education part of it is bad, that's when people start asking questions like, yo, you know what I mean? But yeah, money makes the world go round, though, positively and negatively. But I hope I explained it well enough. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if people see people not really checking up on things, they'll take advantage of stuff, basically is what I'm saying. And I think there was some of that going on. You know what I mean? People knowing that people ain't checking the books like they should. People ain't asking questions like they should. And then you have an element of the parents that act like they don't care, or they're not involved, or maybe they're not around. Because some people would be knowing some people's situation too. Dad might be locked up, mom might be locked up. It might just be dad taking care of the kid, or it might just be mom taking care of the kid. Or it might be a guardian. So the family structure is fucked up. So there's really no one there that's going to question shit or stay on top of things or check on things. So I think people take advantage of that stuff, kind of. Do you know what I mean, kind of? Nice, I hope I'm explaining it well. Basically saying, like, I think people take advantage of stuff sometimes when no one's looking or when they think no one really cares. You know what I mean? And I think there was some of that going on. People just basically taking advantage of the kids in the community. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, there's definitely, you can't just blame one person, though. There's no way you can just blame Dr. Keith Posley for that stuff. Because there's too many people involved. And I think a lot of what was going on too, I think there were people that probably knew what was going on, like, this was supposed to be turned in last week. I wonder why, all that. I'm sure You know, and then there's conversations amongst each other and stuff about like, hey, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, once them test scores started being shitty, that's when the questions started getting raised like, yo, wait, we're pumping all this money into here, but like the end result is still the same or worse. So, but yeah. But like I was saying, I think sometimes people abuse their position or their power or the access to money and stuff like that or whatever. You know, when they know no one's looking or they don't care. Remember, that shit happens though too. Remember I was telling you, this isn't a different area, but when I was telling you, like when I was in prison, when I was at RCI, this was a long time ago, there were COs there that were stealing people's money and shit. I'm saying it wasn't a bunch of people, but it was a few people that were doing that. You know, because it could be like your family and stuff, friends or whatever, could bring money up there. They could bring cash to put on your books when they come to visit, right? So what was happening, you had a few of them COs there that were keeping it, or keeping part of it, not, you know, like your people might bring you $50 up there and they may only, you know, the person checking it in, they may only put 30 on there and pocket 20. You know what I mean? Because they're thinking, oh, well, this person's visit, they're just coming up here dropping off money they don't know. They ain't going to see, you know what I mean? Kind of type of shit. So you had that happening. So people started getting caught. But yeah, people are going to always be willing to risk. You know, when it comes to money. And then you know what, too? Michelle was asking me about this too, because I think her friend they were having a conversation about it. I don't know how it got started, but they were having a conversation about it. Oh no, it was her and her daughter. It was Michelle and her daughter. They were just talking about how the white adult male is like, you know, they're having a lot of emotional problems. For some reason, they feel lonely. For some reason, they're very angry. And for some reason, a lot of times, they end up becoming the serial killers. They just do. It doesn't matter if you don't agree with it or you don't think it's true. It is. You can go look the stats up. I didn't make them up. The white adult male nowadays, some of them have become lonely, more angry, and just violent, and they end up becoming serial killers. Look at look at your favorite crime shows: Dateline, NBC, 48 Hours Mystery. You know what I'm saying? The crime podcast, the crime junkies, and all those. 75% of those stories are about white killers, whether it's a man or a woman. It is. What is that? There's something to that. There's something to that. A lot of times, some white people, they emotionally don't know how to take care of themselves. Because even in prison, most of the people that do end up committing suicide or harming themselves are white guys. They're mentally not as strong as black and brown people. I said overall. I didn't say all. I said overall. That means at least 51% of black and brown people are emotionally and mentally stronger. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying, like, I've been trained for this shit. That's why when COVID came through, COVID was a piece of cake for me. I'm like, man, everyone's bitching and complaining about. Remember in Brookfield, if you're from Wisconsin, when COVID was jumping off, people were complaining because they couldn't get haircuts. Out in Brookfield, they were literally out there posted up on the side of the roads, bitching and complaining about they couldn't golf and that they couldn't get their hair cut. You better buy some clippers and learn how to cut your hair. That's what I did. to this day, I think the clippers that I got about like 5 or 6 years ago, I think it might have been for Christmas. That's still one of my favorite gifts that I've gotten is my clippers. But I knew how to cut hair from when I was a kid. Like when we grew up and shit. Like I was telling you, when we lived over on Sherman and Hour and shit back in the day when we grew up. You know, because we didn't have a ton of money like to get haircuts and stuff like that every week. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Satin Wave, Esquire. That's where we used to go get our haircuts back in the day. Satin Wave off of there, off of, what was Satin Wave off, like 46th and Burleigh, I think it was. And then Esquire was over there off of Fond du Lac. Oh, too, for my Milwaukee peeps. Who remembers Nana's Pizza? That's with an N. N is in Nancy's. N-A-N-A. Nana's Pizza. It was over there off of Fond du Lac, like going towards Capitol. It was a little hole in the walls called Nana's. They had the best pizza to this day. I've never had pizza from anywhere ever better than Nana's Pizza. It's not a thing anymore. That was back when we were growing up over there on like, you know, in the 80s and shit, in the early 90s. Yep, Nana's Pizza was the shit. Pasquale's was good too. Pasquale's was good, but Nana's was the best, hands down. That Ned's stuff was garbage. I know some people liked the Ned's Pizza. I never liked the Ned's Pizza. The cheese tasted generic to me. Yeah, I didn't like that stuff. Stuff was horrible. Don't fuck with anchovies. I never fuck with anchovies. That's horrible. I don't know why I got off into pizza now, but yeah. But that's how we doing the podcast. So we might end up talking about 15, 16 different things, you know, during the episode. But yeah. But that school situation is a mess, you know, MPS. But like I said, whoever like takes this over, or whoever's gonna be, you know, on the everyday decisions and stuff like that, it still needs to be black and brown people. It just does, because nothing's really gonna change. I mean, and at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it boils down to them kids and them parents doing and being better. Because the administrators and the teachers aren't the ones that have to get the good grades. They're not the ones that have to go to school. You know what I'm saying? They're teaching and they're involved and they're part of the process. But in reality, it's about them kids and them parents. It is. And that's a collaborative effort. It's, you know, the parents and the kids, that's a combination. Both need to be involved to make that child successful. And then obviously, you know, let's see what's going on. Police chasing somebody out here. Yep. Oh no, that's an ambulance. But it's just, even that, just like the optics. Like the downtown area, they're going to protect this downtown. And you can just see and hear it by just the sounds. You're going to always hear sirens, whether it's a fire truck, whether it's a police car, whether it's an ambulance. You know, they're protecting downtown east side area. Because there's a lot of white people over here. You know what I'm saying? More money is being spent on housing and to buy things over here, you know, all that shit. So they're going to protect this shit like no other. But then, you know, just go about a mile or two up and they don't give a shit about the city. Or they're always slow rolling, you know, the inner city or whatever we're calling it. You know, take forever to fix anything up in the city. When can we start getting some of these damn houses in the inner city fucking fixed up? Straight up, man. The amount of money that, I wonder how much them bump outs and stuff cost. Because some of the places where they're putting these bump outs is stupid. they're creating more of an issue than solving one. Everyone can see that.
Take it to mahogany. You've been so stupid, Dwayne. He wants to get her one of those fancy things Diana Ross had. Right, I want to get her something really special. You know, like a movie star might have. Get her a maid. She don't need a maid. She is a maid. Leave.
It's nothing, Julio. Julio, this is my pop. This is Julio with this is your father.
Red sample, cold as hell.
So this is a crazy ass story. This is the white crime report for the day. This is DVJ reporting. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, this is the white crime report for Saturday morning. You know, I think, like I was saying, for the most part, I think I'm just going to keep this kind of a chill episode. Not do too much serious talk. You know what I mean? But, you know, I had to check in on the whites and see what they're out here doing that they shouldn't be doing. And I chalked this story up right here. This is about these two white fellas. These white dudes, they have no manners. They should have been raised better. They probably ran their households. They were probably bossing their parents around. Talked any old kind of way to their parents. I can just imagine. Because I've been in some of them homes like that. Like when I said, I went to public schools, you know what I'm saying? All the way up until 9th grade. So like when I started hanging around like some of them white people and shit like that, and I go out to their houses and just seeing how things are and how some of the households are ran and how like people talk to each other and stuff, and just some of the things that are allowed and just all that kind of stuff. Not at all I'm saying something though. It was enough to where I was like, damn. I was like, man, I would have been punished for that, or this would have happened, or that would have. There's no way I would have been able to say this or say that. Like it was, some of the shit was just amazing. But yeah, with these kids, this is what you turn out. They never clean up after themselves, because a lot of times, you know, people are always like picking up after them, so you can't tell them what to do. I said some, not all, but it's a good amount. You know what I'm saying? But some of these suburban, rural area kids are bad. They're dangerous, and they got horrible attitudes, and they're just mad at the world and shit. Yeah, they'll be mad at the world. But this is what you turn out. So sometimes, like, when they end up, like finally moving out, like, their family's house or whatever, they might end up, like, you know, getting a roommate, you know what I'm saying, or moving in with a friend or whatever, right? And then, like, so then those two kind of personalities and people clash, because you might move in with somebody, right, that you don't know, or it could even be a friend. They might be a neat freak. They might like stuff clean, orderly, shit like that, and you might be a slob, like pig pen, shit like that. And then, like, so what happens if the clean person asks the nasty person to, like, be cleaner, or hey, can you do this or do that? And then, like, the slob person's gonna more than likely get an attitude, because they're gonna be like, man, shit, because like they ain't used to having nobody telling them to do nothing. They're like, I don't even let my mother tell me to do this or to take the garbage out. How dare you tell me? And then you get an argument, potential fight. So I'm assuming that's kind of what happened in this situation, but I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna play the clip. Okay, here we go, y'all. Sorry about that.
Are accused of killing two teens are accused of killing their roommate in Flint. robbery earlier this month. 19-year-old Jacob Blaine and 18-year-old Willow Reynolds were formally charged for the death of 44-year-old Adam Reynolds. He was found on May 2nd at a home on Osceola Avenue. Officials say Blaine and Willow Reynolds became upset when Adam Reynolds requested a meeting about house rules. They're accused of stabbing the victim and hitting him in the head with a shovel several times. Blaine and Willow Reynolds face up to life in prison with no chance of parole if convicted. They both remain in the Genesee County Jail and will be back in court on May 23rd. Two teens are accused of killing their roommate in Flint robbery earlier this month. 19-year-old Jacob Blaine and 18-year-old Willow Reynolds were formally charged for the death of 44-year-old Adam Reynolds. He was found on May 2nd at a home on Osceola Avenue. Officials say Blaine and Willow Reynolds became upset when Adam Reynolds requested a meeting about house rules. They're accused of stabbing the victim and hitting him in the head with a shovel several times. Blaine and Willow Reynolds face up to life in prison with no chance of parole if convicted. They both remain in the Genesee County Jail and will be back in court on May 23rd.
Yeah, I hope they never get out. Life's about choices. This is DVJ. I hope you enjoy Saturday's episode, and until the next one, peace. Stay safe out here and enjoy your weekend.